Namaste, welcome to TV9 Know-How, explaining what's going on in the world in just a few minutes. I'm Priyanka. Today's topic is the new Israeli government. Former Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu lost a 12-year tenure as Israel's legislative body and parliament, the Knesset, approved Naftali Bennett as the new Prime Minister this past weekend. How did this happen? Here's everything you need to know. First of all, what happened to Netanyahu? Former Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is Israel's longest-serving leader. He belongs to the Likud National Liberal Movement Party, which was founded in 1973 by Menachem Begin and Ariel Sharon. Benjamin Netanyahu has held office 5 times, which is more than any other Prime Minister of Israel. In 2019, Netanyahu was charged with bribery, breach of trust, and fraud. He also was accused of accepting gifts and dispensing favors for privileged citizens. Netanyahu went on trial in 2020, but despite this, he won another term as Prime Minister, where he agreed to share power with his political rival, Benny Gantz. This government was dedicated to handle the coronavirus pandemic, but it collapsed after only 8 months. Consequently, another election was held. Although Netanyahu's party, the Likud party, did win the most number of seats, there was opposition to Netanyahu continuing as the Prime Minister. As a result, multiple parties backed by Arab members of parliament formed a coalition. They got enough votes to oust Netanyahu out of power after a 12-year rule. 2. Who exactly ousted Netanyahu? Naftali Bennett led this government change with a 60-59 vote of confidence, which ended Netanyahu's prime ministerial run. The coalition of parties that Bennett has pulled together is fragile because they have very little in common and also have differing political ideologies. In fact, it seemed that this coalition's main aim was to unseat Netanyahu. 3. Who is Naftali Bennett? Bennett leads the Yamina party, which among other things supports Jewish settlement in the West Bank. Bennett made millions of dollars in high-tech before entering politics in 2013 and even served in prior Netanyahu governments. Most recently, Bennett served as defense minister. Under the most recent coalition deal, Bennett will serve as Prime Minister for 2 years. He supports annexing the West Bank and opposes the creation of an independent Palestine. He's also the first Israeli Prime Minister to wear a kippah. This is a skull cap traditionally worn by Orthodox Jews. 4. What government does Israel have? Israel has a parliamentary democracy that consists of a legislative, executive, and judicial branch. The bodies are the presidency, the Knesset or the parliament, the government, aka the cabinet of ministers, and the judiciary. In Israel, the president's power is ceremonial while the prime minister holds executive power. But the president still plays an important role in appointing Israel's prime minister. Following an election, the president nominates a member of the Knesset to become prime minister. Now, this person is selected after the president asks the Knesset members who is best suited for the position. The prime minister nominee then has 42 days to create a coalition and present a government platform. This candidate then has to receive a vote of confidence from the Knesset to become the Prime Minister of Israel. Usually, the Prime Minister is the leader of the majority party of the governing coalition. 5. The analysis. Will this government last? The current coalition that is in power in Israel is highly unstable. Members of the coalition do not agree on issues due to differing political ideologies. This makes major policy changes very unlikely. The coalition also stands divided on the issue of an independent Palestinian state. Consequently, another conflict between Israel and Palestine does have the potential to collapse the government. The new government of Israel does highlight changed political sentiment in Israel, though. The very fact that a new government now exists shows that Israelis may be ready to move on from the Netanyahu epoch. Additionally, including an Arab party in government also represents a big shift in Israeli politics. This is regardless of whether the coalition survives or falls apart. Thanks for watching TV9 Know-How. Until next time, this is Priyanka signing off. Namaste.